Greetings everyone, this is Illustrious Freedom again, and today we're back with another Gunpla review. This time we'll be looking at the Master Grade 1/100 scale RX-7802 Gundam The Origin, from the Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin manga and OVA series, as well as the new Mobile Suit Gundam Cucuruz Doan's Island movie. So without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? In Universal Century 0074, the then Autonomous Republic of Zeon created a piece of weaponry that would change the course of military warfare forever: the mobile suits. Its first prototype, the YMS-03 WAF, was designed by Dr. Torinov Wymanovsky and was the first mobile suit that implemented the miniaturized fusion reactor, which allows fluid movement, pure speed and agility, and versatility during combat. It was immediately succeeded by the MS-04 Bugu, which would ultimately evolve into the iconic MS-05 Zaku-1 and MS-06 Zaku-2. These were machines that played massive roles in turning Zeon from an autonomous republic to a principality and turned the tides against the Earth Federation, resulting in the gruesome one-year war come UC 0079. However, a year prior, the Federation was quick to respond by approving the development of a versatile mobile suit of their own, the White Devil itself, the RX-7802 Gundam. Designed by Tem Ray and would eventually be piloted by his son Amuro, the RX-78 Gundam actually had an earlier prototype variant called the RX-7801, which was used against 3 Zakus when they first entered Side 7. It was all in yellow and featured a visor. It was eventually destroyed after a close encounter with one of the Zaku-2s, with it destroying the enemy's mobile suits using the beam rifle, damaging the Zaku's fusion reactor at close range and triggering an explosion, destroying both mobile suits. The second and most recognizable variant, the 02, was initially rolled out in all white and light gray with some red accents, and instead of the iconic V-shaped antenna, it had more of a traditional looking pair of antennas, with 2 on each side. The iconic blue and yellow colors were then added in, as well as the iconic V-fin. The RX-7802 Gundam features head-mounted Vulcan guns, a pair of beam sabers, a left-mounted shoulder cannon, an arm Vulcan on the left forearm, a shoulder magnum, and Gatling gun mounted on either side, or both shoulders depending on the different types, the iconic beam rifle, hyper bazooka, and shield. Throughout the one-year war, the Gundam excelled greatly during combat, having been able to thwart off 3 Zaku-2s during the Side 7 raid in the hands of a then-beginner Amuro Ray, and ever since then, it became a legendary machine that shared countless battles against the opposing Zeon forces and their prominent mobile suit pilots too. Rambaral, the Black Tri-Stars, Mash, Gaia, and Ortega, and the venerable Red Comet Char Aznavour himself, just to name a few. Just like how the Bugu and Zaku marked a turning point for the Principality of Zeon, the Gundam marked an even greater one for the Federation, resulting in more advanced mobile suit developments and the weaponry needed for them. The iconic RX-7802 Gundam has seen many forms of animation, printed media, and of course, plastic model kits. It's only fitting since this is the very first Gundam that started a whole franchise from its debut in 1979. Though not a thorough redesign, I think this version of the original Gundam strikes a perfectly good balance of keeping the design mostly fresh, while still maintaining its iconic look. It's truly amazing how some minor changes could affect the way some parts of the mobile suit look almost completely. With that being said, design-wise, it's not exactly my favorite rendition of the RX-7802. For me, that would certainly have to go to the Master Grade RX-7802 Gundam version 3.0, the one that's based on the 2010 Real Grade and the life-size Gundam statue that graced Japan's Odaiba up until 2016. However, as a model kit, the Origin version truly wins it out in every aspect. It has a much simpler build, not too many gimmicky parts, a near perfect articulation, and all the equipment you need for one of these, and more. Plus, it has the very one thing that puts it far above and beyond any other Master Grade RX-7802 in my opinion, including and especially the 3.0, which is proper build stability. Issues of parts falling off or barely staying in place, they don't really happen all that much here as long as you put everything together nicely. The addition of other effect parts besides the beam saber effect parts is also a neat little touch too. Not really the most subtle of things, but I'm sure there are those who really welcome the addition of the Robot Damashi-esque shooting effect bits for the chest cannons as well as the arm-mounted cannons, even though they are a bit too audacious for my taste. Still, always wonderful to have one of those if you're into them. And I will admit, they do look quite nice in person. And speaking of the articulation, this kit has a lot of really cool joints that I really love. Particularly for me, the abdominal movements. It's something not many master grades have, and I'm so glad it's in here. Outward arm movements, as well as separating knee armors, are also present and are amazing, as one would expect. I guess that's one of the benefits of not having too many unnecessary gimmicks. You can take full advantage of the kit's stability and articulation and exploit a good bit of them, adding to the kit's playability factor, and if you know me, I really do appreciate that. What I also find impressive about this kit is also how the eyes are part separated. For far too long, we'd only been getting mostly full foil stickers for the eyes, and although I still don't mind them, master grades do have the potential to make full use of proper part separated eye pieces as well. And although the eyes do come in clear, the surrounding part around the eyes are really in black. So if you don't want to go through all the effort in putting in foil stickers, which this kit also does come with, mind you, a nice little paint touch-up works perfectly. The master grade Eclipse that we touched on before also makes full use of fully color separated eyes, and I love that in that kit as well. And I'm so happy that it's in here, although this kit actually predates the master grade Eclipse by about a couple of years. So this is an incredibly impressive tech for what they had to do with at the time, and I hope to see more of this in the future. I would also like to touch up on the fact that this kit also does have LED functionality. However, I don't really have an LED unit available, so I can't really test it as of now. And if I'm being honest, if you can just color up the eyepieces, then I don't really necessarily think you need that LED, unless you really want it. Yeah, it's there if you want it, but it's nothing super necessary if you don't really need it. If, however, there are gripes that I do have, one of them would have to be the hands. Don't get me wrong, I'm all in for one set of fully articulated hands that can hold weapons properly, but pulling out the tabs in these hands as well as the tabs on the weapons themselves can get quite troublesome if you're not patient. Also, in my case, the pinky finger on the right hand likes to fall off a lot. So you really need to take your time a good bit more than usual in order to get a beam rifle or a bazooka attached properly. As well too, I should warn you guys about building the forearms. It's really easy to get certain parts mixed up in the heat of the build, and the forearms are among them for me. It became apparent when I tried to attach the shield after finishing the whole thing, and realized that I misassembled the forearm and there was no hole in the peg in the back of it. Because of how tightly everything fits, I just wasn't able to fully disassemble the forearm construction without the risk of genuinely breaking it. So I had to make my own hole for the peg, which luckily wasn't as hard as I anticipated because the inner layer for this hole is already there, and all I had to do was trace it in a way. You'll see what I mean when I show you. But yes, do be careful whilst building the forearms, and it won't look as awkward as mine. One last nitpick I do have is with the waist joints. They have a similar design to those found in the Freedom 2.0 Master Grade, as well as the Justice, Providence, and the aforementioned Eclipse. And as of now, I haven't been able to find metal replacement parts, but they do look to be more durable than those found in the aforementioned kits. Maybe perhaps the joints that connect the legs to the waist do look to be bigger, but either way, do take slightly extra care when playing with the legs to avoid potential breakage. The Master Grade Gundam The Origin is yet another remarkable representation of the original Gundam in Gunpla form. It combines the classic boxy proportions we all know and love, translated into a package that still feels modern and fresh, while still providing immense playability and fun factor for those looking for them. Sure, it isn't perfect, but again, no kit really is. As long as you're willing to live with its few mishaps here and there, you're gonna end up with something truly amazing indeed. Be warned, however, there's not that many of these around at the moment, so if you do have the money for it, and you find one that's sold at a reasonable price, I would suggest that you get it as soon as you can. We don't have much news in regards to reprints or reissues of the Origin Gramps MG at the time of this writing, but once you get your hands on one, I firmly believe that you won't regret your purchase. It's classic reimagined, and it's all the better for it if you ask me. And to round out this review, here's a size comparison with some of my other UC Master Grades, including the RX-78-2 3.0. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment down below if you have this kit, or whether or not you agree with my take on it, and if you want to see more, subscribing to the channel as well as turning on notifications are greatly appreciated. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you guys next time.